want you to start with just a little bit of background about yourself and what makes you qualified for people to like kind of trust your opinion on this stuff.
Well, I studied medical technology. How ironic, right? I studied medical technology at the University of Washington, which is part of the med school. I'm not a medical doctor, but I worked in the hospital for about 4 years before I went out into industry, and I spent 23 years in industry working in research. I ended up my last posting, my last position was over at Amgen for about 10 or 11 years. And I ran the clinical pathology laboratory there, like testing all the blood samples and looking for side effects of those drugs that we were making at the pharmaceutical company. Um, and then just running that lab and just looking at all the different biomarkers and things like that. So I would say that I'm I see both sides of the fence. You know, for those of us that work in healthcare, we see the revolving door that is healthcare. People have these health journeys, right? These years and years of health journey, and as a healthcare worker, as a research scientist, I don't want to participate in that. I don't want to start my own health journey. So much like dental hygienists, they have very clean teeth, right? Why do dental hygienists have clean teeth? What do you guys think?
Well, they
It's
have a
what they
set
do. It's
example,
what they
yeah.
live. It's, yeah. I mean, they got to practice what they preach, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? And so for us in healthcare, we don't want to get sick.
Hmm.
So I started to look into, as I was getting older, I started to look into what can I do to stay healthy. And I had the near-death experience um, about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know if you guys can see the back of my head here. Um, I'll try to move it here.
Yeah, you can see the scar.
This is scar, yeah.
Back of my head there. Yeah. So there's there's nothing that makes you reevaluate your life like almost losing it. And tragedy, unfortunately, tragedy has to is uh, a common factor in opening people's minds. And so I was very blessed to have that fall and have that near death experience because it completely changed the way I approach life and how I look at things. I'm not afraid to voice my opinion, you know. Whereas before, I'd be a little worried about what people thought about what I say. So, and just I go after my dreams now. So I do see both sides of the fence. It's not like it's not like I was a shoe salesman before. You know, I was a scientist before, and so I think I can help the group understand a lot of these concepts that we get challenged with because it's so simple. It's too simple, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
imagine um, spending your whole career in science, and then finding out that wow, this crazy water thing actually does all that and better. It's like you kind of have to really question what is it that you've been studying, right? Like for over 2 decades, what have I been doing? What a complete like not a complete waste of time, but I'm like, man, I could have helped so much more people doing this instead of that, you know. So I think that's what I bring to the table, and I help people, understand difficult concepts, and um, I'm very I know that intelligence is not wisdom, and I think a lot of people confuse the two. They think someone that has a lot of degrees or someone that wears a white lab coat. I used to wear a white lab coat, and so, but I knew I was a researcher. So as a researcher, I know that I'm guessing most of the time. Most experiments don't work, right? And so you're a professional guesser. So yeah,
So you said that your job was to find side effects of
yes,
pills, and you worked with like cancer pills
yep,
medication.
yep,
So what
yeah,
side
all
effects
sorts of
did you
medication.
find?
So whenever you give a small molecule like basically a white powder, all these custom formulations to people. I mean, not people, but to they would do experiments on mice, rats, and because it's required by law, you can't test on people. It's illegal to test on people. So they would give me the blood and I would test, what liver enzymes were increased, if their kidney function was decreased. And so just like the lab test that we get when we go to the doctor, they measure your blood counts are up high or down low, right? And so to see what's out of normal range. And so that's what I did. I ran the clinical pathology laboratory that did that. So it was hematology, all the blood work, clinical chemistry. I also did a lot of coagulation and then urinalysis. So basically all the components that we get tested on when we go to the doctor's office to see if we're functioning good or not. But I did that for research samples. So
Okay.
And the side effects you were wondering?
Yeah. What side effects did you find with the rice and the
lots,
rice?
lots of
Rats
yeah, lots of liver toxicity.
and-
Pretty much everything in your body. Your body's a big filter, right? Your body's will your everything will hit the liver. The liver has to metabolize everything, whether it's food or any chemical that comes into your body has to be metabolized by your liver. I mean, it goes through your stomach and everything, but eventually it gets to your liver and your blood, and various components filter the blood out. And so
Makes sense.
I measure the damage to the liver from the side effects. I mean, like what I mentioned yesterday, all drugs have side effects. True? Right?
Mhm.
Everything has a side effect. And so when you take a Tylenol, right, one of the effects is it blocks the pain signaling. So it's a painkiller. Well, some of these drugs are not, they were not discovered specifically to do that function. You know, that function might be a side effect that they developed the market for. You know what I mean? It's by accident. Like, if you remember the post-it notepad thing? Post-it notepads, right?
Yeah.
The guy was trying to invent the next super glue,
Ah.
right? And by mistake, he
You know
invented a
that.
very bad glue, but he
Before.
made it into the post-it notepad,
Wow.
right? And so science happens that way too.
hmm
Yeah.
I've heard of that with different medications or like different additives for foods. Like they were trying to get one thing and then it ended up being something else, and it's all just a big science experiment. And then
Yeah.
We're all
It's
just guinea pigs in that science experiment, aren't
Yes.
we?
Yes, we are. We are. Right. Um, I believe that Mother Nature is a much better scientist than all of us. She's been doing this for a while, since the beginning of time.
Just a little bit. Just a
Yeah,
little
just
while.
a little bit.
yeah.
Just a little bit, right? And so maybe we should just simplify and just go follow Mother Nature instead of following the new thing. You know,
hmm
we in our society we believe that new is better, but new isn't always better. New is just not tested as thoroughly as Mother Nature, you know. And
Well,
so,
and, yesterday Rochelle said, she said, if our body's 70% water, what is the most important thing we could give our body? And when
yeah,
she said it like that, I'm just like, oh, it just makes so much sense.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, what is your personal opinion about this water?
It's absolutely true. I started to think, okay, so what is it that I need to do to live a long time? What is it that I need to do to build and replenish my cells? Because we have cells that, die every day in our body, right? And so what do I need to build new cells? I need nutrition, right? I need water. I need energy, okay? And so at minimum, that's the three things I need to build a new cell, you know. And so this water is the easiest component that I can add. Um, and I know nutrition, most of our foods are not very nutritious anymore because the ground is not full of nutrients. The ground is depleted, and processed food has been processed with a lot of chemicals,
hmm
and it's everything's enriched and vitamin fortified. So in my mind, we're not getting very nutritious food anymore. We're calorie rich, but we're nutrient poor,
Yeah.
you know.
hmm
And so that's why we have a lot of the
That.
health issues that we do. But there's no deficiency of Tylenol. There's no
No,
deficiency of
no.
of, you know, your
Rochelle goes,
body and earth makes everything, right?
Rochelle did this slide. I think you were here, Sam, right? She did this slide and she showed a plant when it was dying. And it's like, what do we do when the plant's dying? What do we do? Do we give it a pill? No, we water it. Like, it
Yeah,
just makes
exactly.
so much sense.
Yeah.
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 And that's what I mean by the logic, right? So I'm a very logical guy, and I apply that same logic to the whole of science. So if you looked at someone do an experiment, right, with a new chemical, right, they need to find out what the chemical does and then if it's good or bad and find the uses for it, right?
Mm.
Right? So what if we look at the whole industry with that same regard, right? If the industry is designed to make all these chemicals, what's the net result? Is it net positive or net negative? It depends on where you are, right? If you're very sick, you'll need medicine. But if you're very healthy, stay away from medicine, right?
Yeah.
And so because of side effects, and so it's just a common sense, I guess. Like if you're really like that plant, right? That plant was very sick, right? So it needed water and probably some nutrients or some better soil or something or some sunlight. It
Mm-hmm.
needs something. But none of us ever need man-made chemicals. There's no such thing as a deficiency in our body of man-made chemicals, you know. So so
Yep.
that comes up quite a bit. That comes up quite a bit for people. It's like, um, why did this work so well and why are you, because I've been taking my pills, for 10 years or something like that. And I just ask them, is it working? If it's working, if you're getting better, then keep doing it. But if it's not, you might want to try something different,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And at this point it's very low risk, extremely low risk, right?
Totally. There's no really side effects with drinking water.
Yeah, the side
Only
effects from
side
not
benefits.
drinking
Only
water.
side benefits.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just,
Yeah.
um,
If you're getting put on another prescription medication, you might want to rethink what you're doing.
yeah, yeah. And you guys can look into this. You look up, you can do Wikipedia on the chemical industry, right?
Mm.
If you have a laptop there, you can pull that up. Um, the
Do it on
chemical
my
industry
phone.
yeah, on Wikipedia, and then they will list out what branches of industry are included in the chemical industry. Like the
Type in,
plastic
type in
industry,
what, Sam?
chemical industry. Okay, and so you see that plastics are part of the chemical industry, right? You see that pesticides are part of the chemical industry.
Products.
You see the oil
Products.
industry. Okay,
Companies.
not companies, just
Products.
chemical industry,
Yeah,
on Wikipedia.
She's there.
I'm there.
Oh, it says the plastics industry contains
Hmm.
some overlap.
So scroll down, you see life sciences, right? Do you see life sciences as part of the chemical industry?
Oh, nope.
The chemical industry comprises the companies that produce industrial chemicals. Central to the modern world economy, it converts raw materials, oil, natural gas, air, water, metals, and minerals into more than 70,000 different products. The plastics industry contains some overlap as most chemical companies produce plastic as well as other chemicals.
Okay, okay. So if you go
There's
on
this
which
history, products,
is that
companies, technology, world chemical production, see also, and references.
yeah, and so the pharmaceutical industry is a part of the chemical industry.
Mm.
So the raw materials that we build drugs with are basically chemicals.
ExxonMobil,
Mm.
Yeah,
Mitsubishi, DuPont.
yeah. What else do you see there? You see anything life?
Go to product.
Bayer.
There. Did you know Bayer also sells all kinds of things? Like they don't just sell medicine. I've seen they have like shoe inserts, like Dr. Scholl's is them.
Yeah.
Um, it's so crazy. Products. This is fascinating. I mean, this is a whole another rabbit hole that when I start looking up chemicals and then I'm like, how is this even made? And then it's like this process that combines this chemical with this chemical, makes this chemical, and then it's just this whole rabbit hole that none of it makes sense to me.
And all of this stuff is like in our food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
But you notice it's all, it's in our food, and it's designed to kill bacteria, right? It's designed to kill germs. And so I have
What
a
are
very
we?
simplistic approach. Exactly. We're a huge
We're
germ.
germs and bacteria.
Yeah, right. And so that's why life begets life, right? And death begets death, right? So you cannot do toxic things to your body and expect to live a long time.
Yeah.
That just doesn't work, right? So if you want to live a long time, you have to be very clean at the cellular level, at the food level, at the water level, at the thinking, at the thought level.
Yeah,
So
I experienced that when I was 23. I literally felt like I was dying. The doctors couldn't help me, and it forced me to take a look at my life. I was smoking a pack a day, getting drunk on a regular basis, eating only packaged foods. Like, and I was on 5 prescription pills. Like, I wonder if that had anything to do with where I was. And
yes,
what me and you, Sam, have talked about is helping people change their perspective before they get that sick, before it becomes life or death. What's the best way that you found to help shift people's perspective on health?
well, when we show people the demo, we actually show them how it relates to their health. Um, in about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, in the time of um, the presentation, you can shift someone's belief system. You could shift their paradigm, right? And so that's a very low price for shifting your belief system, because most people do not shift their belief system until tragedy, until someone in their family dies or something happens to them or they get diagnosed or something seriously happens before they open their mind and say, huh, what else don't I know?
Yeah.
Right? Right? Like we live on Earth, right? We live on the planet, and we think the planet is a solid, it will never move until there's an earthquake, right? And when the earthquake happens physically outside, the houses start shaking and things like that. People are rattled, emotionally rattled by the earthquake, right?
Yeah, physically.
Yeah, physically, right? And chemically too, and emotionally, they're traumatized by the earthquake. Well, what we can do with the demo is that we can have that mental earthquake for people and shift their mind and give them a new belief system that you are not immortal. You can't smoke a pack a day and expect things to be, peachy, right? And so in the span of 30 minutes doing that demo, someone's gonna have the aha moment, that light bulb's gonna pop up in their head, right? It's like, wow, this is amazing. And then even if they don't, the next time they go to a restaurant, someone hands them a glass of water, they're gonna think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very
Or
least.
soda or whatever.
That's so powerful. I mean, for me, this is the holy grail of science. Literally, it's the holy grail of science. We want something simple. Water is about as simple as breathing. Okay, so if someone cannot drink water, then hey man, there's not much else I can do for you. Literally, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's effective, right? Well, that's what intrigued me was all these people getting these results, you know, and I was like, wow, there's something here. There's something special going on here because it's very simple and there's results, right? And the third thing is, I'm 3/4 water, and I'm buying it from Coca-Cola. I'm buying it from Dasani. I'm like, that's just an extraction game. That's a way to extract money from our wallet. That's all it is.
It's one of the
you
biggest
know,
scams
so
around the bottled water industry.
yeah, it's the biggest scam, but it's it's been told to us it's that the scam has been run for so long we think it's normal. Like it's not normal to buy bottled water, people. It's and so
It has become a
right,
new normal, but
Yeah.
it wasn't 10, 20 years
normal,
ago.
right? Yeah. I mean, right now, diabetes is becoming somewhat normalized, right?
Hmm.
Everyone's diabetic, right? You guys remember seeing that Disney movie called Wall-E, where he was left on the planet to clean up the planet, and then all
I
the
think
humans
about
were
that
on the
movie a
space.
lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, right? Isn't
Because all
that
the
what's
people
going on?
on the the outer planet or
The
whatever the
spaceship,
heck
right?
is they're all living on, they're all fat, and they're
Yeah,
all just
yeah,
and they all just sit in their little motorized vehicles and eat and watch TV.
yeah. I mean, as we look into our cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But we're gonna go to the
So,
gym after this.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, girl, we're gonna get it.
We're working out after this.
yeah. So
We
it's
drink
just
this, so we're
a
okay.
common sense. Yeah, we have to have our bottled water, right? So, um,
Cheers. I'm for fire.
Cheers.
cheers, cheers.
Dan says watch Idiocracy.
Sounds like a good one.
Oh yeah, yeah, completely. That used to be a comedy, but it's like a documentary now.
Oh,
It's a documentary of our society and how how messed up everything is, and so how upside down everything. And so what I do is I bring a certain amount of logic to people, but I'm becoming quickly aware that people do not act logically. They don't use logic when they act.
can you give an
You know,
example of that?
so let's say it's the holidays, right? It's Christmas, right? And so um, people will go and they'll see a car commercial on TV, and there's a red bow on the car, right? And so it's an Audi or it's a Lexus or something, right? It's a Mercedes, right? It's a season of giving, right? They cannot afford the car, but they want the feeling of being the good guy or the good girl to the good parent to give things to their family. And so they'll go into debt
Mm-hmm.
just to feel good. And
Mm-hmm.
then January will come and the bills come in January for the holidays and they're like, oh man, I spent way too much. And so people don't act logically, they act, emotionally because as a society we're disconnected. We don't care for each other emotionally. We sell things to each other, right? And it's a sad it's a sad state of where our society is like. The holidays are it's about tradition and family time, right? But now it's about commercialization, right? It's so materialistic,
It
right?
really is.
Everything's about all these fancy things that you could buy and like I don't think the children really know the meaning of Christmas except for presents,
Hmm. Santa and
right?
presents.
Yeah.
Well, and we're taught it's all focused around food too. And that's the part that really gets me. It's like, okay, we all like Thanksgiving, we all get together, stuff our faces to where
Yeah,
it's hard to move, and it's all just food, that's not necessarily great for us, some of it.
yeah,
And that's just kind of what we're taught to do. And Halloween with candy and Christmas time with candy, it's like it's so commercialized, and they're really pushing this crap food on us too.
yeah, exactly, right? And it's just an awareness that we need to come to that we're doing this to ourselves. And so um, I don't necessarily fault the marketers because their job is to sell stuff.
They do a good
But
job. Right.
yeah, they're doing a very good job. But
Well, there's scientists
um,
being paid to like get inside our heads and figure out what we need to see so that we will buy their product. And that's the
yeah,
part.
yeah,
And same with kids. They have scientists that they target kids with these commercials. And that's the part that
yes,
really gets me is like I feel what is that word? Violated. I feel violated that my
yeah,
son is a target and they have scientists being paid to figure out how to get him to say, "Mommy, I want this."
yeah, yeah. And so that's the thing. And so like if you look at Monsanto, right? Monsanto, right? There
Hmm.
are literally scientists at Monsanto working on the next fertilizer. True?
I'm
Because
sure.
problems with Roundup. So there's scientists working
Mhm.
on the next fertilizer right now. They're engineering right now. Okay. And then at the drug company, there's scientists trying to come up with the next drug that'll undo the symptom of that fertilizer, right? And there's scientists like coming up with uh, the next GMO crop. And so who's doing all of this? Us.
Mhm.
We want convenience, and that's how they get us because we don't want the exercise, we just want the six pack, right?
Yeah, there's so many things you can like put around your belly and it'll vibrate. You can just sit there.
Exactly. Right?
Oh,
And so it's just scientifically I can break things down and say, there are no shortcuts. And so everything that's engineered is meant to save time, but there's a cost.
hmm
People, like I don't think doctors really want to prescribe you drugs, but that's all they can do. Because if they
hmm
tell you to, um, go change your diet, you won't listen to the doctor. Most people will not listen to the doctor, right?
And
They
I
just
don't know
want,
if
hey,
it's
doctor, just
necessarily
give me two pills,
that they don't want
right?
to listen to them. I think people just have a hard time because we're taught one way, and then all of a sudden, for me, I had a really hard time switching from standard American, even though it was killing me. Switching from
Hmm.
standard American to eating healthier just because that was my comfort food. That's all I knew growing up. I
Yeah,
didn't know how to cook any food, and I didn't have those skills. And so it was a big struggle. And so I don't think it's necessarily that they don't want to. Maybe some people for sure, but I think it's that they don't have the tools and the support and they feel kind of lost. Yeah.
Support.
yeah, yeah,
Friends and family
exactly.
don't live that way, don't live that way,
Yeah.
don't
Oh, yeah. I was
understand
the
And
you,
only one. I was
give
like,
you crap.
and then you're targeted by ads everywhere you look, everywhere you hear. I wanted to check myself in somewhere. I was like praying for some kind of resort
Yeah.
where can I just go for 30 days,
Can I just go
get
to a
taught these
rehab
skills?
and
Yes, for food. Like
yeah,
that's what yeah,
yeah.
they didn't have nothing like that.
yeah. And a lot of it, that's why when you come into Kangen, you come into Nagic, there's something deeper here than just another program.
Yeah.
There's something ethereal. There's something in your spirit that changes, in your whole paradigm, your belief system that changes, right? And it's not just another job I'm doing. A lot of my friends ask me, "Hey Sam, are you still doing that water thing?" And I'm like, yeah, are you still breathing air? It's kind of needed, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of needed. Like
That's a great
Coca-Cola is
response.
optional,
Yeah, you still breathing
right?
air? Gosh
Yeah.
darn right I'm still doing the water thing.
Yeah. It's like Coca-Cola is optional. Water is mandatory,
Yeah.
right? And so good health is mandatory. It's not, I'm not doing anything that's optional. And so, but some people won't realize it's mandatory until they lose it, which is very strange, right?
hmm
But so, as far as the science of it, I think there's so much more science here than in what traditional Western medicine is. Just because I come from that world and I can see it from both sides of the fence. I can see that we are so far up the wrong tree, up the wrong branch, that we're starting to mess around with things we shouldn't be messing with. Now, GMO crops are really, we're taking DNA fragments from one species and putting it to another species. It's like, what are we doing? And that's not, there's going to be some serious um, health issues from other things. The food,
We're back.
right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we're playing games. We're trying to be God, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And we weren't, like, what do I know? Like, I went to school for a few years and got a degree, so that makes me an expert? What books did I study from? I studied from books that were written by other people, not written by nature. And those books change, right? I mean, the authors change. And so one of the things that you guys will notice that for a new idea to take hold, the old idea has to die off.
hmm
Is that true? like
Hmm.
personally, right?
Yeah.
For you to be more healthy, your idea that hamburgers are healthy or hamburgers taste good literally has to die off, right?
Hmm.
And so the same thing with science and scientific belief. The old belief has to die off. And so it's going to be quite an issue for people to wrap their heads around this, that maybe we've all been duped, you know, maybe because it's
I have a lot to say
right.
about that.
It's
So
deep.
Sam,
It's
my question to you is if someone wants to look up the science behind this water, what's the best way to go about that? Because I know there's a lot of information specifically about Kangen water on the internet.
yeah.
What's the best way for people to find legit information?
Yeah, so there's a couple of websites. You can go on PubMed, PUBMED.org. That stands for Published Medicine. That's where all the researchers and scientists publish their work, and it's all peer reviewed. And then they can search for electrolyzed reduced water, ERW. That's the scientific name for it.
So you don't
That's
want to
how
look
I
up
got it.
Kangen water.
Yeah, don't look up Kangen water. Kangen water is the brand name.
Hmm.
Yeah. They could also go on Google Scholar. Again, that's a collection of all the published medicine, all the peer-reviewed articles. And um, when you find a good article, one of the articles I like to share is Advanced Research on Reduced Water. That's a very good article. And then the fantastic thing is at the back of all of these articles, there's this whole list of references.
Hmm.
Right? There's probably like 30 or 100 different references in the back because they always have to cross-reference their work. They always have to list their sources. So you can go back to the original source of their thought, right?
Cool.
Um, and then um, that's very powerful for helping people that are engineers or scientists and but one thing we need to be cognizant of is sometimes you're challenging someone's new religion. You guys understand what I mean by that?
Hmm.
So for me, it took me 12, 13 years to open my mind because I had been so indoctrinated into Western medicine, it became a new religion for me.
Sure.
And so for someone to challenge me with Kangen, it was like challenging my religion.
Yep. Yeah, same here with my raw foods. I was taught raw foods is the best way for healing. That's personally how I originally found healing was hydration through raw foods. I personally had a hard time keeping it up on a regular basis. And then when this was
Mhm.
water was introduced to me, I was like, and someone said it could hydrate me better than anything else or it had more antioxidants than anything else. I was like, I was really for months and months, I was like, no way, like that's not like food. It's food. It's all about food. But now I told my perspective has totally shifted. Oh, you're amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just we just share the information with people and just be aware that some people are not going to want to change their religion.
Well, and
Meaning,
that's totally fine. They're just not ready, and that's okay.
yeah, exactly. Right. And it's just a matter of
Makes sense
it's
to
just a
me.
matter of getting the information out there. And but some people need to have tragedy before they open up their mind. That's all. And
So
so um,
Sarah
you
just
know.
asked, how can water have antioxidants?
Uh, the antioxidants are an electrical antioxidant. So the word oxidize is to take away or to strip an electron. So when you have metal like iron oxidizes, it rusts, right? That means it's losing electrons to the oxygen. Okay, so oxygen oxidizes, right?
Hmm.
That's why the word came from. Oxygen oxidizes, so it steals an electron. Well, unfortunately, we're swimming around oxygen. We're addicted to the stuff, right? We can't live without it. Right? So we need antioxidants, things that will donate an electron so we don't rust, right? And
Hmm.
so it's a special type of antioxidant. If you go into chemistry, you look at redox reactions, reduction and oxidation.
Sam, you froze.
Sam, come back. We lost you.
Did anyone else lose
Yes,
it?
I have-
Oh, his answer was so good. Oh, there he is.
Your face is
So,
still frozen, but keep talking.
sorry. So I had a call come in. That's what I had to do.
Oh, okay.
So what did part of the answer get cut off
You were
there?
talking about reduction. That's where you left off.
Yeah. So oxidation is the stealing of an electron. Reduction is the donating of an electron. Okay. So in science they're called oxidation reduction reactions. Back to chemistry, right? And so when the word reduce doesn't mean like it's on sale, right? And so reduced price, right? No, reduce actually means it's a scientific term for donating an electron. That's why it has a different meaning in chemistry, right? And so that's where we're getting the antioxidants from, is from the electricity, from the electrons, because we're reducing oxidation, right? So, but it's a very simple way to do it. I mean, this is able to help so many different symptoms and conditions without causing more symptoms, more side effects for people, right? So someone, any questions online there? I'm not really monitoring it there.
Oh, John says, what was the research paper Sam mentioned that he likes?
Okay, advanced research on reduced water. Okay, advanced research on reduced water. So that's a very good article. It has some good graphics in there. I'll post it up on my Facebook page too, so you guys can pull that off and share with people.
So I want to talk about, oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to talk about antioxidants for a little bit longer. Because,
Okay.
I didn't fully get this until I put my presentation together. Because I was like, all right, I'm going to be explaining this to an audience of like 40. Like, I better figure this out. And so I really have a better understanding now. And so to simplify the answer maybe for Sarah, the way the antioxidants are added into the water is basically through the electrolysis process. It adds the antioxidant of molecular hydrogen, which has so all the antioxidants have an extra electron, which neutralize free radicals. And there's actually more antioxidant capacity in one 12-ounce glass of this water than you can eat all the fruits and vegetables in one day, which is just huge. And I personally have experienced this because I used to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables in one day. Now I just make this water my focal point, and I feel like just as good as when I was eating 100% fruits and vegetables. And I don't eat 100% fruits and vegetables anymore.
Yeah. So, we measure the ORP. When we measure the ORP, we get a negative charge, right? From the water, true?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That negative charge means there's electrons in the water.
Yes.
And those electrons, that negative charge means it's donating. When you drink that into your body, you're getting this negative charge. And that binds up all the free radicals. And the hydrogen does the exact same thing. And so that's why when you, that's why when you
taste all the
drink this
negative
water,
charge electrons. I can feel them in my mouth.
right, this is the original energy drink, okay? This is the original energy drink. That's Mother Nature gave it to us. Mother Nature didn't give us Red Bull. Yeah.
No.
Stuff is garbage, dude.
So Sam, what is the biggest objection? So you've talked to a lot of people about this water, many more than I have. What is the biggest reason you're finding people aren't purchasing this device?
It'd probably have to be the cost. The cost is the biggest objection, and that goes back to what we're discussing. If you're discussing water, like I don't know if it's raining outside. It's raining outside a little bit, but if you are talking about something that has no value to people, then you're gonna have to build a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
True?
Yeah.
Right. So that can be you're trying to convince people now. But if you lead the discussion with, hey, what's the most important thing in your life? and let them tell you what's the most important thing in their life. Because we're just using this as an Uber, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
the only reason why I went to college is because I was using college to as an Uber to a better life, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
because no one's really impressed with a college degree anymore. By itself, it's not impressive, but you could use the college degree to get something that you want,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so same thing with the Kangen. You could use it to get something that you really want, which is whatever they want. So that's why I asked them, what is it that you want to do with your life? What's the most valuable thing in your life? You weren't born to just work and pay bills, you know. So what is it that you want to accomplish? And have that discussion,
Mm-hmm.
and use this as a ride for it, you know. The second part would probably be the science. The second objection would probably be like, oh, my stomach's acidic, and so you know, as soon as I drink this in, this is gonna neutralize it out, right?
Yeah, let's talk about
Well,
that because that's a big thing
It
that I
changes
hear
the
too.
pH. It changes the pH of your urine, of your stomach acid, of your kidneys, of
yeah,
your da da da, whatever.
yeah. And so it's just like if it's you know, your body's a system. Like your body's a system. So if you put junk in your system, it's going to break down faster. Is that true?
Yeah, I
Right?
experienced
So,
it.
so yeah. And so what do you want to put in your body? At the end of the day, what do you want? How efficient do you want this machine to run
The best
at
that
the
it
end of the
can.
day? Yeah,
Because
you know, you
seriously,
want it to
when it
last,
is
right?
running efficiently, I feel like I'm on fire. I'm like lit up. I'm so productive. I don't get sick. I get so much accomplished. I feel amazing. I feel great. I'm nicer to people.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm more patient with my son. I can play more with him. It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
people just
yeah,
don't. They just understand how much better you can feel. They just don't believe that. They think they're fine. They just don't believe that they can actually feel amazing every single day.
Well, I personally didn't realize how unhealthy I was until I started to get healthy. I didn't realize how miserable I was until things started to change.
yeah, yeah. And I think most people get used to being sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Yep.
so if you like as an example, if you've been sick for if you've been sick for 10 years, that at some point becomes your new normal,
Mm-hmm.
right? You take this pill every day, and there's no hope for getting back to normal per se, and so it just is just your new reality, you know. So oh, someone's leaving a message on my phone.
Oh,
So, sorry about the noise, guys. But
that's okay.
But yeah, it doesn't really change the pH, does it? It doesn't affect the pH of your blood, making it too alkaline, or your kidneys, or your urine.
I think he got another phone call.
Oh. Well, I'm
Meanwhile,
going to answer for Sam. It doesn't do that.
meanwhile, we're like heating up in this conference room. Hey, you're back.
yeah, so specifically with the stomach acid, um, when you drink in a net amount of alkalinity to your body, yes, your body will make more acid in the stomach. But when it makes the acid, it's going to make a bicarbonate, the balance of the chemical reaction, right? You make a sodium bicarb, right? Or potassium bicarb. And those are the alkaline buffers that your body will use to balance out the rest of the body. And your body is infinitely more intelligent than any industry or any doctor, right? Your body knows exactly what to do and exactly what to keep and what to throw away. It's called homeostasis, right? And so when you put in too much acid, right, the body is going to try and balance that acid out because acid's a waste product. And so it'll behave in a way to even take the calcium and magnesium out of your bones to balance out that acid that you just drank in the Red Bull,
So
right?
can you put
And
in too much alkaline?
no, your body will throw it away. Your body will
You
throw
put
it
in too
away.
much acid.
Yes. Most of our, acid is a waste product, right? If you look at, like, how do we make wine? What do you do to make wine?
You ferment it.
Ferment it, yeah.
You ferment it, right? You have some
Hmm.
grapes and some sugar, and you have some bacteria, and you let the bacteria eat the sugars, and they make alcohol as a waste product. Okay?
Mm.
So if the bacteria are making alcohol as a waste product, what would be the point of drinking their waste product,
To get
right?
drunk.
Yeah, you get drunk. And getting drunk is getting drunk is what is impairs your thinking, right? Impairs your motor ability, your motor skills. And that's the effect or the side effect of drinking waste product. And so if you look at the effect of eating American food, you become obese, you become sluggish, you become diabetic, you have arthritis, you have all these things. And so it's just balance it out. We just have to be more mindful and to stop listening to all the marketing. You
Hmm.
know, that's why like our presentations are very visual, our demos are very visual for people, right? And so
Yeah.
they can learn from it, you know. So yeah, but that's a pretty common question as far as the balancing the pH, and what would drinking this into your body would do, because it's just your body. That's why your body craves this, right? Right. So
Hmm.
when you guys drink this, does your body want to drink more or less?
Oh yeah, more.
Yeah. So your body's infinitely more intelligent. Like every cell in your body is saying, I want more, I want more, I want more, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
so there's an innate intelligence within your body.
Just
And
about
we need to listen to
listening.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Well, and that's what every time, all of our symptoms, the headache and heartburn and joint pain, those are all just our body trying to talk to us. And a lot of times we don't know how to understand, or we don't know how to interpret it, and we're giving it things that are kind of being pushed on us, how we're
Hmm.
taught to pop the pills, and really it's just a symptom of dehydration more times
Yeah.
than not.
Yeah. Yeah. So the top three causes of any disease are oxidative stress, which is oxidation, right? There goes that the redox reaction again, oxidation, right? Right. The second thing is acidic stress. The third thing is dehydration.
Hmm.
Those are the three low-hanging fruit. If you can address those three, like you're gonna solve like 99.99% of health
You
issues.
can address all three with Kangen water.
Yes, yes. And that's why it's so easy. And so some people are very skeptical and they say, well, where's the clinical trial data, on this water? And I ask them, where's the clinical trial data on broccoli?
Or like even the medicines. Anytime I went on a medicine, I didn't even look into it. I was just like, all
Yeah,
right, I trust my doctor. I'll just take it. I didn't look for any scientific evidence that it was going to work for me, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you look at some people they ask me, right? They ask me all these scientific questions and all this data, and meanwhile they hold a can of Red Bull or they hold a can of they hold a Starbucks cup of coffee in their hand, and they're like, did you ask for all the clinical trial data from Starbucks before you bought that? You know?
Nope. Yeah.
Because if they did, oh lordy,
Is there
stuff that's
any?
in that garbage
Oh
is
my gosh.
It's horrible,
the
and so
ingredients list
I
is horrendous in some of those
I think
Starbucks.
this is what we're doing. We're helping people wake up.
Hmm.
And some people don't want to wake up because they would have to admit that they've been sleepwalking
Yeah,
through life,
You
right?
have to make changes that are sometimes
it's
really
really
hard to
uncomfortable.
make.
Really uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable, and you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
anytime you're coming out of your comfort zone, it's going to be uncomfortable for a minute, and then it's comfortable, and then it's totally like, all right, I got this.
Life can be better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You have to get, to make a change, you have to get pissed off at some
Or
point.
really, really, really sick, or something traumatic.
Yeah.
Something something drastic has to happen before you change your mind, and
It's
so
so
that's why I
frustrating.
say, yeah, yeah. That's why changing your mind is the easiest thing to do, right? You could change your mind. Let's go eat there instead of here. That's really easy to change your mind.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's also the hardest thing to do. It's strange, right? How could it be that the simplest thing to do and the hardest thing to do are the same thing? Changing your mind. But it is. And so some people don't understand it because they're doing the hardest thing to do, right? Changing their mind. But for us, it's really easy to do. We just change our mind.
Dan says, "Wake up, America."
America, yeah.
I want to talk about price again for a minute, just because that is the biggest objection. And
Yes.
I want to, when I bought my car, how many people have cars? Like, we all have cars, right?
Yes.
And when I bought my car, I didn't even think twice. I dropped $6,000 for the down payment, and then continued to pay, and it was total $13,000. I did not even think twice about that. And I really feel like my body is my vehicle for life, and so paying $5,000 for a machine that's going to last me 25 years
Longer than the car.
Yeah, it's just like a no-brainer. And I feel like it's just all perspective and what is important to you, because I'll have people say I can't afford the machine, but they have 2 snowmobiles, 5 cars, a house that's paid off, no children, and they get their hair done twice a month and get their nails done. And it's like, I just want to like shake them and be like, it's just your priorities. Like, what do you really care about?
Wake up, America!
And it's hard to watch like my friends and family who say they can't afford it, but then they're suffering. And it's really like it's just getting rid of that $5 Starbucks every day. That's the machine payment for the month, and making that a priority.
And they're just looking for the magic pill.
Well, this is the magic water. It's as simple as taking a pill, really.
It's just,
I've heard
change your water.
And I've heard the thing that it might not even be the medication really helping people. It's a glass of water they drink with the medication.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Just drinking water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And so I think that's why we've been sold upriver. So I can say that because I come from that industry. And some of my friends might not agree with me because they're getting a paycheck from that industry.
Yeah.
When your livelihood and your income comes from a place, you become a little bit biased.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I've had the luxury of being on both sides of the fence, right? And so that is something that I hope people understand. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from a place that I hate the pharmaceutical industry. I don't hate the pharmaceutical industry. I just don't want to participate.
Right? I don't want to sign up for that rabbit hole.
Again. Yeah, I don't want to sign up for that. I don't want to sign up for a health journey. Right? People have these health journeys for 10 years. So I don't want to have just like I don't want a plumbing journey, or a roofing journey or a car repair journey. I don't want any of those journeys. Right? But somehow we're okay with the health journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what else do you guys get challenged with other than the stomach acid thing?
Well, another thing I guess would be like the competitors out there that claim to do like the same thing as Kangen but for cheaper.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any experience with other machines?
Oh yeah. I have quite a lot of experience, and I've helped people buy a Kangen machine after their other machine with a lifetime warranty broke. And they often give me the other machine and I take it apart. I take it apart and there's rust and bacteria. There's biofilm, which is basically a layer of bacteria on the inside of the machine. And so people are drinking all that. They're drinking rust water. And so, for me working in medical technology, studying medical technology, I look for certifications. And the one document that really convinced me was the ISO 13485 medical device certification. That's the most important document for me as a scientist.
Do any other machines have that documentation?
No other machines have that, right? And so
the one with the lifetime warranty, was that like I know Tyant is like the biggest one, and I just had someone personally choose Tyant over Kangen, and it was just heartbreaking. and I'm curious to see the outcome. Is Tient one of the ones that you've opened up and you've seen rust in?
Yeah, yeah. So they all eventually will rust, right? And it's the quality of the engineering. Um,
Mm.
Lori Tauscher has a very good because she's an engineer. Um, so she did this comparison a number of years ago. You can probably find her report, her PDF online. But her name is Lori Tauscher. We met her husband. I want to say his name is Brent or something. Like he came up from Portland one time. But they're both engineers, and they broke down the machine. I'm not an engineer. I'm a medical technologist by training, but I'll believe it when engineers are impressed by how things
Yeah.
are built. You know.
So the people that
Um,
had the lifetime warranty, why did they not try to get it fixed? Why did they go to Kangen?
because those warranties are usually only honored if the company is still in business. You
Uh,
know. And there's so many criteria that are associated with that warranty, right? So you can't make more than 1.5 or 2 gallons per day, otherwise you'll avoid the warranty. And uh, you can't give water to people. If you can only make 2 gallons a day, you can't give water to people, right?
no.
And so there's a lot of things that are sold for a variety of reasons, and warranty is one of those reasons. Like what is it? A Hyundai? Hyundai and Kias have very good warranties, right? And they're pretty good cars, right? Right? But if you look at a Hyundai versus a Honda, which one has a longer warranty?
You're asking the wrong people.
Hyundai. Hyundai has a
Monday?
10-year warranty. Yeah,
Okay.
like 10 years, 100,000 mile warranty, right? Okay. And then a Honda has a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty. Dan could tell me if I'm right or not here, right? But which one do you think is engineered better? The Honda
Well, the
or the
Honda,
Hyundai?
right? The Honda.
Yeah, yeah. And so for me, if it's something that I'm putting in my body, I'm going to look at how the thing is engineered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not going to look at just that price, you know.
And then something else I want to touch on with other machines is I've watched these Tient videos and they're just straight up like bashing us and really twisting things
Yeah.
to make it appear different. Like they say we need a chemical to make our water, which is true and false. We need the salt water solution to make the
Hmm.
cleaning waters, but it's not needed to make the drinking waters. And I
Hmm.
know that like the other companies don't use this saltwater solution, and I've heard that that's what is needed to get it all the way acidic to the 2.5 level where it's killing bacteria. Have you personally
Yeah.
tested the 2.5 from other machines to see if it because I know it has to get to plus 1,100, correct?
Yeah, so it has to have a high ORP, and
Mm-hmm.
so there's it's called hypochlorous acid, HOCl, is medical. It's approved by the FDA for medical use, and so you can only make the hypochlorous acid with something that donates a chlorine, HOCl. The Cl has to come from somewhere, right?
Okay.
And if you don't have a salt solution, then you're not making HOCl,
Right.
right?
So for the people who are getting these competitors' machines, they're not actually making the hypochlorous acid.
What are they getting then?
I mean, does it still smell? I'm sure it still smell. Does it still smell it kind of like ours? I'm curious. I want to get my hands on a Tient and really
Yeah,
experiment.
yeah. They say it's low pH, but it has to be below a certain pH to become five certification. Only one company has that medical device certification. Everything else is a kitchen appliance. Period. Period.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts, right? It's just like either you're a medical device or you're not, right? And so if people are
Yep.
using this medical device from Japan, and then they should get a medical device from Japan. They shouldn't get a kitchen appliance because I think most buyers of this technology are buying it for health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
True, right? And
Yeah.
so So if you're buying it for health reasons, then get the best because you've only got one health. There's no redos. And so, I've lost some sales and I've had some people go to other machines, but they always come back.
Do they?
Right?
You know.
Do they
They always
really?
come back. Dan said, have them test their tie in 1 year. They'll come back.
Yeah, yeah. They always come
And they
back.
have
But
no
then
They
they're
always come
out
back.
$2,500.
no
Yeah.
sponsor,
Yeah.
no one to help them.
And
with
it's
their
technically
machine.
not a tax write-off like ours is because you can start a small business whether you want to work the business or not. But if you're going to
Yeah.
buy it online, it's not, and it's not a business, and you don't get that extra tax write-off.
Yeah. And so
And
it
you
just,
help you.
it's just there's always going to be, there's a, there's a reason why Walmart exists and Macy's exists. You know, there's a reason why there's always a low end and a high end. And so for the people that can't afford the high end, it's okay if they buy the low end, but you can't expect the best when you buy something from the 99-cent store.
You can't expect it to last very long.
No,
that's for
you
sure.
really,
buy
you
your
really
cheap,
get what you pay for.
your cheap
You
shoes.
get what
They
you pay for. It's
generally
common sense, right? It's common sense for everyone, right? You can't expect, like a car, you can't expect the car to last you, 10, 20 years if you paid, if you bought something used on Craigslist,
Right.
you know?
right.
I have
And
a
if it's a
Sarah.
safety device, I'd be very, very wary of that too,
Yeah.
right?
Sarah
So,
asked, I have a water softener. Will this affect the water?
yeah, so the water softener is probably because you have a lot of calcium in your water, so it will normalize it to an appropriate hardness level, like calcium level. Um, so it'll still work. It'll still work. You might have to get a certain type of pre-filter to add some minerals back, but it will work. This will work on any kind of water.
I was gonna say, then what's the difference if you have really hard water?
You have to get a
So
water
if you have
softener.
really, yeah, if you have really hard water, you need something that will reduce the calcium content because water hardness is calcium content, right?
My
And so,
grandma's
Yeah.
were just down in Arizona, and they bought my skeptical grandmas eventually bought their own machine to travel with them because they're snowbirds. They go down to Arizona, and they have really hard water down there, and their machine
yeah,
actually shut off, and they had to purchase a water softener so that their machine would work down there.
Oh wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
the water's just not
Ooh, the
good down
water's
there.
so bad down
It was
there.
so bad in Vegas too.
yeah, yeah, it's a we have was it Ion Faucet that have the Ion Medics
Yeah,
pre-filter. It's pretty
That's what
good,
I
and
got
they
from
have a very good
here.
program where
Yep.
you just put in your zip code and they'll let you know
yeah,
what you need,
Yeah.
yeah.
right?
We really got all the tools.
It's
Yeah,
so worth. I mean, it's worth it everywhere, but it's really worth it down there.
yeah. Yeah, and then there's an environmental component to this too, right? Where we're just not changing our personal body, our self, but we're actually helping to preserve the earth. And
Hmm.
so people need to be very, everyone wants to save the whales, and we get a little squeamish when we see that turtle with the straw stuck up its nose or whatever, you know. Um, but
But what are you
but
actually doing to help them,
exactly,
right? Like that's what I want to ask. I yelled in your ear,
yeah,
but people like it's like, oh, I don't want to see that, or oh, that's so terrible. But then they just go and they continue to just live their lives like they don't change anything about their lives to help
yeah,
stop this terrible overpollution of plastic on our planet.
And this is really the number one thing that is helping our planet, that has the potential to really revolutionize. What is it? Oh my gosh.
there you
Not
go.
travel straw.
Yeah, there you go.
So funny.
See,
But
she
that's
has a
one of my
metal
favorite.
portable straw.
Stainless steel.
That's one of my favorite aspects of. That's really cool, actually. Of the machine is how eco-friendly it is, and that we're actually having a lot of health issues. There's studies that show that women are being affected more than men, and they think it's because of all the household chemicals. Like if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're in the house,
Yeah,
you're not getting a lot of air. You're spraying all these chemicals, Windex on your. We can
And stuck in
completely,
the house.
yeah, we can completely get rid of all these single-use plastic containers, billions of them, and all these chemicals in our house. Our water cleans better than Windex. And you don't ever have
Yes.
to buy it again.
Yes.
You don't have to buy laundry detergent. You don't have to buy bleach. You don't have to buy toilet cleaner. You don't there's so many things.
I had my mom try the 4.5 water. and it actually did do a better job than Windex.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was awesome.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we that's why I say that we've been kind of duped, right, by the chemical industry. That better life through chemistry. If you look if you look up the incidence of chemical production, it actually came up after World War II. Before World War II, there was no TV dinners, right? There was no canned food. Everyone did their mason jars, right?
Yeah.
And so there's all this convenience that came about, and it was all to save us time, you know.
Hey, Sam.
Yes.
I think all three of us could answer this with a resounding yes, it can help you. But Anna Corinne Olson is asking, how much can this help my body? I have so many illnesses like rheumatism and psoriasis with the many medicines that I have and that she takes. How much can this water help?
Extremely. You are three-quarters water. If every cell in your body is three-quarters water, and that water is full of plastic or chemicals or toxins that we get from our food and just clean chemicals, and so it's going to have a profound effect. When you clean your fish tank, your body, it's going to have a profound effect, and it's
Yeah.
very low risk. I mean, I think at this point in our society, there's more risk in not doing this than doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
I
for
was
sure.
when I was down at the juice bar, there was a woman who she came in. She had heard about Kangen water. She drank it before, and she had psoriasis. She walks in. I wasn't there for this, but Denise told me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, there's Kangen water. There's like people all in the store." She's like telling everyone, "This is liquid gold. Like you guys don't even know what they have here." And she got back on the water, and I talked to her when I was down there, and she's like, "I went to show my friends how bad my psoriasis was, and it was pretty much gone
Yeah.
within like a week of drinking it."
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But it doesn't cure. You know, we're not allowed to say it cures anything.
It doesn't cure anything.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we can't say cure because it will that, the FDA will come in and shut everyone down.
Yeah.
But if you notice, a lot of the drug companies they don't say cure. If you listen very closely to the drug commercials, they say will help you with if you have symptoms of this or that. If you have symptoms, it has been shown to dramatically reduce symptoms.
Yeah. So
Well,
we can just
Can we
mimic
do that?
we can just mimic the drug companies if they can
Yeah.
get away with it. Then we can.
Kangen water has been proven or shown to
Shown to
dramatically
Reduce.
decrease
Yes.
dehydration symptoms. I don't know.
Yeah, anything.
And
anything.
psoriasis and skin conditions is a dehydration issue
Yeah.
typically.
Constipation and diarrhea.
Mostly.
And,
Constipation.
All we do is we help people restore balance to their body, and the only thing that cures anything is your immune system and Mother Nature. That's it. Everyone else is pretending. Everyone else is trying to make a buck.
It's a band-aid.
You can take that to the bank, okay? You can take that to the bank. So only your immune system and Mother Nature cures. Everyone else is trying to make a buck.
yes, Anna.
Anna,
Period.
I will send you a message. Do you know Anna?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So Tristan will send you a message when we get
Yeah.
off here.
Yeah.
Anyone
So,
else have
yeah,
any questions? I see Liz is listening to us at work.
Yeah.
Dan is still on. Denise is watching from the juice bar. How fun.
Yeah, so I think more and more people like us are waking up to this realization that we need to think for ourselves. We need to question everything. We need to say, well, why is it our healthcare system is all based on pills, and we have so many pills and so many pharmacies, and yet we have no health?
Mm-hmm.
Like it
We're
doesn't
just
add
getting
up.
bigger. We're just
The
getting
worst
It just
health,
doesn't
yeah.
add up.
We're what, number 42?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Japan's like number 1.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
1 in 4 households in Japan have this
Is it
technology.
1 or 4?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
awesome.
So it's just logic, people. It's just like if you take something that's toxic and they literally tell you that it's toxic, right? You can literally overdose on things, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Overdose on things. And if you take too much of these drugs, they're gonna have some serious side effects. So that's why I tell people, please get off of these medications as soon as you can. Like get true health. Don't just treat symptoms. Don't be using Band-Aids all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and so address the root cause. And the root cause is, you know, it's high, oxidative stress, acidic stress, and dehydration, you know, and nutrition. And so I tell people this is much, much easier than going vegan or
Yeah,
vegetarian.
that's to
It's
that.
much, much easier. You should go vegan, right? But that's a
That's
little
like
different for most people, right? So so
and
they
it's
can
much,
just
much easier than changing everything all at once and changing your
Mhm.
diet and your lifestyle and your mindset and all those things that, you know, would improve your life. It's way easier to just change the water that you drink. You got to already drink water anyway.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
And I think a
Either
lot of
either
from. Go ahead.
yeah, either you buy from yourself or you buy from Coca-Cola.
Right? You buy a product that makes the product for the next 25 to 35 years, or you continue buying it and giving the money to someone else and polluting our
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Like
And
when did that become okay, you know, to drink stuff out of plastic? I don't know, like 1980? When did that become okay?
I don't even know. And you know what I heard is that the way they make the bottles is they look like little test tubes, and then they heat it up
Mhm.
and blow it up. They look like this. They heat it up and blow
Yeah.
it up, and then they cool it down with the water. So we
That you
have our
drink.
water going into this hot plastic, and
To cool it
it
down.
really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have to continue. It's really one of the biggest scams we have going on right now.
And
It
most
is.
of the companies are just taking the water from small towns
And filter it.
rural
They just
areas
filter
and
it a lot of the times. It's just filtered. You can filter your own water at home for less than what you're paying for bottled water.
Yeah, lots of problems with that.
Anna says, "Can I also give this to my grandchild that are 9 months?" I think
Yeah,
heard someone. I heard someone say that. What was it? Someone was just talking about this. That you want to wait till they're eating foods.
Yeah.
To give them anything other
give
than
them-
neutral.
And yeah, anything other than neutral. So you want to wait on the ionized water until they're eating.
So then you can just use the pH 7.0 neutral water for
Mhm.
babies before they eat solids.
Yep. Yeah.
I personally
So-
didn't give my son anything but breast milk until he was done on breast milk. Personally.
But you want to be
breast
drinking
milk is
it.
mostly water.
Right?
Yeah, oh,
Like,
yeah,
Let the
oh,
mom
yeah.
be drinking it, and
Yeah.
then, you know.
Telling you, just stay as close to Mother Nature or mom as possible.
Yeah, booby.
Yeah, right. So just stay as close to
Booby
Mother
juice.
Nature as possible.
It's $3.19.
Okay. Oh man,
Yeah.
nice. All right. Well,
This was a great interview.
Yeah, it was really good. Thank you, Sam. We're gonna go work out now.
Yeah, thank you guys. So we'll have to do this from some beaches or ski resorts next time or
Yes.
something like
Right? Then people can really understand, you know, the life that we get to live by doing this business.
Mhm.
that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll be in Vail, Colorado, doing a presentation over there in
Ugh.
January, and then I'll be in Vegas for some time too. So yeah, we'll
Fun.
we'll definitely have some chances to do it from different locations.
Cool.
Yes, you will. Live your life.
All right, Sam.
Live your life. Hey, so go make it happen, okay, guys? And I just want to leave a word of encouragement for people that this technology is out there, and it's been available in other societies for such a long time, and we have an opportunity to bring it into our homes and to help our families. And so this is something that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. This isn't a job. This is a passion. And for me, it's really had a profound effect on my life because I have passion for living again. You know, and there's so many people that are suffering in a society that is not very happy with what they're doing. They're just going to work and earning money to pay bills,
Mhm.
you know. And this gives you freedom back. You get to be comfortable in your own skin again,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
And
and
I
you speak your
totally
truth,
feel
and that's such a blessing. So
Mhm.
Hashtag gratitude, hashtag blessed.
Yeah. Only good things have come since I started drinking Kangen water. Like,
yes,
and the people who are drinking this water and actively trying to help others with this water are on a whole different level. They're just the most amazing people I've ever met, and you are one of them, Sam.
Yep.
And then Tristan.
Yep.
There's just, and if I just posted, I don't know, Sam, if you saw my Christmas video, but I felt like it was so fun to capture like the magic of a magic, in this 7-minute video and just talk a little. I asked each person, like, what was your favorite benefit of drinking the water? And you just, like, when I watched the video, I could just feel that energy in the room again. So if anyone hasn't seen it yet, I just posted it this morning. Go check out our holiday video.
I'm gonna watch it at the gym.
Yeah, you better, girl.
I know, I need to. Totally. I wish I was there.
I know.
I was sick. Oh, that's another story.
All right, Sam. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you. Soon. I'm sure.
Okay.
Sure, I'm soon.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, guys.